Hi everyone, my name is Jacqueline Snyder and I'd like to welcome you to Let Love Speak. Today is January the 5th, 2011, and this is the first of my video blog series for 2011 already. I can't believe it. The holidays flew by and it's already the new year. I wanted to talk to you today about New Year's resolutions and why I think they're important for our society and why I think we make them in the first place. In our society, we all live with a lot of stress in our lives, and stress is normal to a certain degree. But I think that often when our stress gets up to a certain level, we have a tendency to come up with coping mechanisms to deal with that stress that aren't always that healthy. Sometimes we overeat or we undereat. We drink a little bit too much, a little bit too often. Some people smoke. Some people exercise too much. People have different ways of dealing with stress and handling the stress that builds up with our everyday lives. One of the things that can help us reduce our stress in everyday life is staying in touch with ourselves, which is what this blog and video series is all about. Because if you stay in touch with your feelings, then you're going to know what those feelings are when they come up, and then you'll be able to deal with them at the time that they come up, which is a much healthier way of dealing with them than burying them through eating too much, or eating too little, or exercising too much, as different people do. Those are coping mechanisms, but they aren't healthy ones. But as we all know in our society, they are very common. Our coping mechanisms can help us feel as if we have a sense of control in our lives, but they actually don't help us control our lives. We actually tend to compound the stress and make it even worse because we aren't facing our feelings and what's making us feel one way or another. So one of the things that New Year's resolutions does is, I think in our society, it makes it socially acceptable to admit that you haven't been exercising enough, or you've been eating too much, or the different, unhealthy coping mechanisms that we have. We're able to admit them openly and honestly to our family members and friends. And one of the things that we don't do is we don't keep our New Year's resolutions, which is a way of breaking our promise to ourselves to face ourselves, which is one of the biggest promises that we should make to ourselves and one of the ones that we should keep. One of the things that we really need to do for ourselves is to maybe choose 1 or 2 New Year's resolutions and decide why we're choosing those resolutions and keep them, because probably it's our way of saying to ourselves that we need to get rid of some unhealthy behaviors that we're doing, and using them as a New Year's resolution is a very socially acceptable way to do that. And I would definitely encourage you to do that. Next week I'm going to be talking about what can happen when you do ignore your feelings, and what can happen over time when you're not facing some unhealthy behaviors that you may be doing. And I hope you'll all be here next week, next Wednesday, January the 12th, for my next video blog series in Let Love Speak. Have a wonderful week, everyone, and thank you very much for being here.